the left, and everywhere in between.
Quiet. Shut up and let me answer, okay?
Answer.
Pot him down, please, because this is another MAGA who doesn't understand how to have a conversation with somebody.
It's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
I'm kind of a big deal.
This show will make you laugh, make you cry, and it might raise Brian's blood pressure.
You know what, dude? People like you, all you do is make excuses for the orange turd, and I've had it.
All the smash and grabs and everything. Yeah, tell me, what race is doing that, first of all?
Okay, so you want to be a racist now. Okay.
Race is doing it. Seen it on the news?
I don't watch Klan TV like you do, sir.
Buckle up, because it's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
You're different. I like you.
Now, here's Brian.
All right, what's up, everybody? A very happy Thursday. It is Pushing the Limits. Thank you so much for joining us. We certainly have a lot to get to today, and all of my loyal listeners, I'm very grateful. You could be watching on the Occupy Democrats Network, the Washington Press Network, of course, KSHP, the FMAM dial, Twitter, Twitch, X, YouTube, you name it, we're on it. And we appreciate you being part of one of the fastest growing shows really across the country. And I'm, as I said, very humbled and very grateful. And yes, we will hear from you. It's also one of the most interactive shows around where we get calls really all over the country. And I appreciate all of you very much. Please check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. We'll get a little bit more into that later. It's interesting because I just put a clip out. We're going to talk about, Joe Biden's speech last night, which I thought was very heartfelt. And I thought he did a really good job. And we'll talk a little bit about Donald Trump's speech yesterday on the campaign trail. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. This is some really weird stuff we're learning about JD Vance, folks. This is really weird. I've never really heard of this before. First of all, we're learning that he changed his name several times in his life. He was actually born James Donald Bowman. He grew up in the suburbs of Middleton, Ohio. He was not from a poor family. That was a lie. He actually went to Yale. He changed his middle name to David, then changed his name again to Jimmy Hamill, then changed his name to JD Vance 10 years ago when he married his wife, which is extremely bizarre. And listen, I don't care what somebody's sexuality is. I try to treat everybody the same. I try to look at who you are as a human being. I don't care what's between your legs. I've always been like that. And I find it really sad. I feel really sad for people that are not able, or maybe they don't feel comfortable to be who they are. And we had Anthony Scaramucci on the show yesterday, and the mooch was like 100% right. I don't know if I'd characterize JD Vance as he did as a homosexual Care Bear, which I thought was kind of funny. But as you know, there's a lot of people on the extreme far right, the evangelical right, those who are anti-gay marriage, they call it a sin, are usually those that are gay themselves. And I'm just telling you, based on the stuff I've been reading about JD Vance, the stuff I've been learning about JD Vance over the last 24 hours, it appears to me that he might be one of those guys. And I'm just telling you, I've seen pictures online of him and Lindsey Graham, and it makes me feel like maybe they've had a relationship. I don't know. But if somebody is living a double life and they're afraid to actually be who they are, I feel really bad for them, because you should be able to be comfortable and be who you are. I've always felt the same way about Mike Pence, too. These evangelical right-wing zealots that talk about how horrible it is being gay are usually the ones that are gay themselves. I don't know. Go into J.D. Vance's history, learn a little bit more about him, and that's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. You should look into that. I thought Joe Biden did a really good job yesterday in passing the torch using his language. Thought he did a really good job. It was emotional for a lot of people, and I've always said this about Joe Biden, and I will continue to say it, and all the right-wing morons out there can attack him all they want to. Joe Biden's a good man. He's a good, decent man with a good heart, and he made the right decision, and all these right-wingers out there are losing their mind. Oh, what are you saying? Why doesn't he step down now? What are you saying? Is he not competent? Yes, he's competent to be president of the United States for the next 4 months. We're talking about the next 4 years. And these dumbbell right-wing idiots out there that don't seem to understand that, they are grasping at straws, ladies and gentlemen. They're trying to say it's against the law. By the way, it's not. They're trying to say he should step down now. He doesn't have to step down now. He's looking towards the future, not the next couple months, the next 4 years. And he made the right decision. The attacks on Kamala Harris are continuing, ladies and gentlemen. I see the right-wing memes because some of these Republicans or MAGA Republicans are so ignorant. They're not even smart enough to be able to come up with their own material. So they copy other people's memes and then they put them on social media. And some of the memes are absolutely disgusting. They're painting out Kamala Harris to be some sort of, for lack of a better term, whore, when she's a happily married woman to what it appears to me to be a really good dude, a really good husband. They have a beautiful family, raising 2 children. And I know that her husband, 2 children from another marriage, and the entire family has nothing but nice things to say about the mother. And the mother had nothing but nice things to say about Kamala Harris. They seem to be a really close-knit and good family, good mother, good father. And so you can't go after her family. You certainly can't go after her education. She has a quality education and a law degree, and she was the, district attorney. So, the attacks are those of no substance. What are they? Going after her for being a woman, making claims that she slept her way to the top, making fun of her laugh, and we'll get to that. These Republicans have no substance. Now, if you want to call her the border czar, right, which, by the way, if you look at what she actually did, she was not the border czar, but even if you want to give her the border czar position and you want to say she failed the country at the border and it's all Kamala Harris's fault, even if you would want to say something like that, which I don't necessarily agree with, she could still run on her record and the record of the Biden administration with what they've done and the economy that they took over, the horrible economy that they took over during a global pandemic and what they've been able to do. She can run on her record. She's a big girl. She could take care of herself. And I don't think Donald Trump is going to debate her. I really don't. And I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. He's going to make excuses. He's going to say, I want those moderators. I want to be able to interrupt. I want the mics to be on. He's going to make every excuse in the book so that he doesn't have to debate the former prosecutor, Kamala Harris. That is what I think is going to happen. And the attacks on Joe Biden after the heartfelt speech he made last day were absolutely disgusting. And after his speech, he goes out into the Rose Garden and he speaks to the employees with a microphone and they're giving him a round of applause because this is a decent man and a decent human being. And I thank him for what he's done. I thank him for his service to this country. And, this is a man of decency with a moral compass. And I will always feel that way about Joe Biden. And he's also stepping down with dignity. And I'm glad he's doing that as well. So this was the part of the speech that got me a little choked up when he started talking about, hey, I was just a kid growing up with a stutter, and look at where I am now. I thought it was really heartfelt and really cool to hear him talk like this. This was the end of the speech, which I thought, was a very emotional part of the speech.
My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter, from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Claremont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. Here I am. That's what's so special about America. We're a nation of promise and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things. I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others. I've been blessed a million times in return with the love and support of the American people. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. Great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. You just have to keep faith. Keep the faith. And remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So let's act together. Preserve our democracy. God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
Can you find any moment in Donald Trump's entire political career where you felt like he was speaking from the heart, like Joe Biden just was, with that sort of conviction? The only time Donald Trump does that is when he's calling people names or he's attacking somebody. Joe Biden didn't do any of that. He didn't even mention Donald Trump's name. He didn't attack anybody. He talked about how grateful he was to be in the selfless, because that's who he is. He talked about how grateful he was to be in the position that he's in. He thanked everyone, not just Democrats or the people that voted for him. You know, I'm a kid with a stutter growing up, and look at what became of me. Look at what I did. I think that resonates with a lot of people, and I think I've always said this about Joe Biden. It's one of his best characteristics in that he resonates with people when it comes to talking about loss, when it comes to being selfless, and I've always appreciated that about him, and he did it last night. Now, of course, the right-wing MAGA turds are going to find ways to attack Joe Biden in one way or another. I'm not sure how you can when you listen to his speech last night. It was heartfelt. It came from the heart. The man has a heart. Can you give me a moment? And I'll ask this question to any of the MAGAs out there listening. Can you find a moment where Donald Trump ever spoke from the heart and was compassionate in the way that Joe Biden spoke last night? Don't you want that from a president? You don't want a president to come up with nicknames and attack people. You want a president that is going to speak from the heart and wears his heart on his sleeve. And Joe Biden did that last night, and Joe Biden's been doing that his entire career, and I do appreciate that about him. So while Joe Biden was talking about how grateful he is to have served this country, it was Donald Trump who was speaking on the campaign trail at his MAGA clan cult rally, because that's really what they are. Some of the dumbest people that America has to offer are going to these rallies. They really are. I stand by that. So what was Donald Trump doing? Again, this is so weird. He was talking about Hannibal Lecter again. I don't understand what his obsession with Hannibal Lecter is, but he went into it again yesterday. Listen to this.
Prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Okay, they say, why would he mention Hannibal Lecter? He must be cognitively in trouble. No, these are real stories. Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lamb. He's a lovely man. He wants to have you for dinner. He'd like to have you for dinner.
What is he talking about? Real stories? It's a fake character. It's a movie that a great actor, Anthony Hopkins, played. What does he mean when he says real stories? Yes, we do think you should take a cognitive test. Yes, we do think you're in the bunker. Yes, Donald Trump, we do not feel like you are mentally fit. There's something mentally wrong with you, and you need to drive off into the orange turd sunset. Why do you keep talking about Hannibal Lecter? It's not funny. It's just weird. All the problems that we face in the world, and you talk about Hannibal Lecter as if it's a documentary like, well, I mean, I guess you could say that Hannibal Lecter is about as real as 2,000 Mules, but that's another story. This is another weird, I mean, he made a ton of weird statements yesterday, because that's what he does in the rambling and the bumbling and the mumbling of Donald Trump, who's in mental decline. He starts talking about how Kamala Harris is committing crimes. Listen to this.
She shouldn't even be allowed to run for president. What she's done, she's committing crimes.
She is? What crimes is Kamala Harris committing? Funny, the only crimes that I think you committed thus far that you've been convicted of are 34 felony counts. What crimes is Kamala Harris committing? Come again? It's funny, he didn't name any of the crimes. He just says she's committing crimes. Maybe Kamala Harris is committing the crime of having a loving marriage where the two actually hold hands and love each other. Where's Melania Trump? Maybe Kamala Harris has been committing crimes of earning what she receives, getting a quality education, working hard in her life. Her father never gave her a $500 million company. Maybe she committed that crime. I don't know. Maybe she's committed the crimes of accepting the oath of office and not attacking our democracy. I don't know. I mean, maybe she's done that. I don't know. I guess she committed the crime of getting over $120 million in donations over the course of the last several days, while this idiot is selling his Trump Bibles and his gold sneakers for $500. Give me a frickin' break. What crimes is again, love to hear from the MAGAs out there. What crimes is Kamala Harris committing? Why does he keep talking about Hannibal Lecter? I don't know. That's really strange. And then he says he has to take back the White House from who?
From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala Harris, they switch. It's every day. Next week they'll have somebody else when they find out how bad she is.
Joe Biden is still the president of the United States. Can we all agree that Donald Trump is in mental decline and he should take a cognitive test? That he can barely walk and he can barely talk? I think he's unfit for office. I think he's in the bunker. I don't think Donald Trump is fit for office mentally or physically, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, he can get in a golf cart and play some horrible golf. Have you seen that swing? His golf swing looks like Charles Barkley. It's so bad. And this is a moment in the speech where now he's saying, I guess he's alluding to the fact that at one point he was nice. Listen to this.
You know, I was supposed to be nice. They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice. And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Yeah, the Klan. Listen to the Klan in the background. That's the Klan, ladies and gentlemen, in their white sheets. Yeah. When has this man ever been nice his entire life? With his multiple ex-wives, the cheating, the lying, having unprotected sex with porn stars after his wife, now contractual wife, has barren, the attacks on women, the attacks on POWs, the attacks on race, religion. I have plenty of examples that I've talked about on this show. This man has never been nice his entire life. He is a brutally awful human being. And even Republicans would agree, but many of them that are in office are too afraid to say it publicly, even though some of them did when Donald Trump was running for office, including his vice presidential running mate, who once compared him to Adolf Hitler. They all know who Donald Trump is. He's never been nice. Nobody's ever characterized him as a nice guy, unless you're in the Klan cult and you're buying the Bibles and all that other stuff. He's never been a nice guy. He's now a 34-count felon, liable sexual abusing rapist. That's who Donald Trump is. That's who he's always has been. He's never been faithful to one woman his whole life. He's a terrible father. He's a terrible husband. That's who he is. And this is the point of the speech where Trump, again, was attacking Kamala, and then he brought religion into this. This is very bizarre.
What she's doing is she's running away from Israel. She refuses to go to Bibi Netanyahu is in Washington. She refuses to go there. Even if you're against Israel or you're against the Jewish people, show up and listen to the concept. But she's totally against the Jewish people. And it amazes me how Jewish people will vote for the Democrats when they're being treated so disrespectfully and badly. It amazes me. It's shocking. I don't.
You know what's shocking? That Donald Trump and his Klan cult are so stupid, they don't even realize that Kamala Harris's husband is Jewish. You stupid idiots that are clapping in the background. You cultish morons. You uneducated fools. She is married to a Jewish man, and she doesn't hate the Jews. You are an imbecile. And it's just another attack where you just throw something on a wall and hope that it sticks. That is to the contrary. As far as Benjamin Netanyahu goes, his speech yesterday was an embarrassment. I am not a Benjamin Netanyahu fan. I think he's an embarrassment, and he's a right-wing moron as far as I'm concerned, just like Donald Trump. Joe Biden is going to be meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. You don't need Kamala Harris to meet with him because the current president of the United States is meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, and that doesn't mean that somehow correlate that to Kamala Harris hating the Jews. I say again, her husband is Jewish. These people are so stupid that they believe everything that Donald Trump says. You can't attack her on her education. You can't attack her on what she's done in her life. You can't attack her family. I mean, I guess some people can try to, but you're not going to be successful. You can't attack her on any of the things you could attack Donald Trump on. Last I checked, she never had to pay off $130,000 to a man that she had sex with. She won't be doing that before the election. I can promise you that. But somehow Donald Trump equates because she didn't meet with Benjamin Netanyahu over the last several days, she must hate Jews even though her husband is Jewish. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't expect anything more from Donald Trump. But what is mesmerizing to me are the Klan cult MAGA supporters that cheer him on and believe what he says. I get into it with people on social media about this stuff every day. And then when 20 or 30 minutes goes by and I look at my watch and I say to myself, wow, I just wasted 30 minutes of my life. These people are brainwashed. They're far gone. And many of them and their opinions are not factually based in any category at all. So many of these people still think that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. So many of these people still think that Donald Trump had nothing to do with January 6th, that it was all Antifa and Nancy Pelosi's fault. When you ask them about the convictions and the felonies, they'll say, oh, no, that was a corrupt judge and a corrupt jury. He didn't do anything wrong. When you ask them about a jury that found him liable for sexual abuse where the judge characterized it as rape, oh, no, it was a liberal judge. It was a liberal jury. He didn't do anything wrong. Or any of the other indictments and the other criminal activity, allegedly. Oh, no, he can do no wrong. He did nothing wrong. But Hunter Biden's laptop, it is absurd. These people are so brainwashed. I think it comes down to one thing, ladies and gentlemen: stupidity. If you're dumb enough to put on Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, and you're dumb enough to believe what Jesse Waters says, you're dumb enough to believe what Tucker Carlson says or Sean Hannity. We'll get to that. Ted Cruz appeared on Dad Bod's Sean Hannity show. That's what they should call it now. Listen to what Ted Cruz had to say on Sean Hannity's show about Kamala. By the way, he's not in Cancun. He's not in Cancun. I just want to be clear on that. Listen to what he said on Hannity last night.
Let me say at the outset, Kamala can't have my guns, she can't have my gasoline engine, and she sure as hell can't have my steaks and cheeseburgers. She is a radical California leftist, and to be honest, she perfectly captures where today's Democrat Party is.
Again, total misrepresentation of the Democrat Party, total misrepresentation of Kamala Harris. But this is what these right-wing turds do, and of course Sean Hannity won't give any pushback. Kamala Harris doesn't want to take your guns away. In fact, Kamala Harris has talked about that extensively. Being a former prosecutor, she says and she said this time and time again, that everybody has the right to defend themselves and the right to bear arms. Like many of the Democrats, they don't want to take all your guns away. That is a lie put forth by Ted Cruz. That's all they do is lie. What she has said on the record is an assault weapons ban is something that she would support. Maybe, better background checks, comprehensive background checks, which, by the way, most of the country agrees with. But Ted Cruz, again, spewing lies. He doesn't believe the BS that he spews. And then talking about gasoline as if the vice president of the United States sets the gas prices. Ted Cruz is an irrelevant fool. I hope he loses in this upcoming election. He's an embarrassment to his state. He is an embarrassment to the country. What would you say about that man? And I use that term man very loosely. When you have the former president going after his wife on looks and saying that Ted Cruz's family was responsible for John F. Kennedy's death, assassination. And yet what does he do? After he calls Donald Trump out and says he's unfit for office and he's a habitual liar and yada, yada, yada when he was running against him, then all of a sudden Donald Trump wins and then Ted Cruz becomes his best friend. That's who the majority of these people are now. They're completely two-faced. We had Representative Eric Swalwell on this show last month, and Swalwell told me a story on the air about how they were in the House chambers and they took a recess, and Swalwell goes into the restroom, and Cruz sees him in the restroom, which is, bizarre in itself, and he gives him a high five. I hope he washed his hands. And he says, thank you for what you do. Completely two-faced when these people are in front of the camera and then they're behind closed doors. Ted Cruz is exactly that guy. He is a two-faced puke is what he is. And then there's Sean Hannity. I played you the other day the attacks on Kamala Harris on his show, who is another despicable turd. He's no better than Rush Limbaugh, if you ask me. They both had the same physique, that's for sure. Sean Hannity, on his show on Fox News, he was making fun of Kamala's laugh, and then he makes the case that the reason why China, Iran, and North Korea will not take her seriously is because of her giggles. Folks, you can't make this up.
One thing I can tell you is that, I don't care if it's China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, they never feared Joe Biden. They did fear Donald Trump. They won't fear Kamala Harris. They'll laugh at Kamala Harris because that's what she does half the time anyway. She giggles away, her time. I don't think they'll take her seriously because I don't think she's a serious person.
He doesn't think Kamala Harris is a serious person. Yet the guy from Apprentice who wakes up in the morning and puts on 8 layers of orange makeup is. You cannot make this stuff up. But again, just like Ted Cruz, Sean Hannity is the guy behind closed doors. We know from the text messages that knew, in his own words, that Donald Trump was full of you-know-what when it came to the election fraud stuff. These people are different people behind closed doors. Tucker Carlson did the exact same thing. You see, they're a news station, right? News organization, Fox News. But then when they're sued, all of a sudden their attorneys say, no, they're not news. They're just entertainment, and people shouldn't believe everything that they say. Because when they're facing an upwards of an $800 million settlement, all of a sudden they're not news. All of a sudden, no, they're just entertainment, and you shouldn't believe every single word that they say. That's who these people are. And I told you this was going to happen. The DEI hire attacks, making fun of her laugh, saying she slept her way to the top. By the way, these are the same people that support Donald Trump, that are saying Kamala Harris allegedly might have had an affair. But we'll support the rapist. We'll support the guy that's got 5 kids with 3 wives. Contractual wife, by the way. Don't get me wrong. That hug and kiss at the RNC looked very, very natural. Let me tell you something. I hate Donald Trump, and I thought, and I was wrong. Brian can admit when he's wrong. I thought that I hated Donald Trump more than anybody else in this country. I got to be honest. I got to take a couple steps back. I was wrong. Melania Trump hates Donald Trump certainly more than I do. She cannot stand that man. Did you see that hug and kiss? She wants nothing to do with that man. Contractual obligations, ladies and gentlemen. But with that going forward, the attacks on Kamala are going to continue. The Republicans are scrambling. Even Donald Trump is scrambling for nicknames. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. When they call her a DEI hire, just man up to it or woman up to it. Just call her what you want to call her. Just call her the N-word, because that's what you're thinking. When they say DEI hire, you might as well call her the N-word. That's exactly what it is. Just because Joe Biden said he wanted to pick a woman doesn't mean that Kamala Harris was unqualified. Just because Joe Biden said he wanted to pick a black woman doesn't mean she was unqualified. In fact, anybody, even Republicans, say, yeah, she was qualified. So you can take all your DEI hire stuff and bring it to your Klan rally. Mr. Burchett and whoever else wants to claim that she's a DEI hire. Shove it. Because I believe the Democrats have a lot of momentum. Kamala Harris has raised over $120 million, and she hasn't even had to sell Harris Bibles. She hasn't had to sell $750 gold sneakers. She's not hawking Bibles. She's not claiming election integrity and begging for your money. She's not selling trading cards. No, she's not doing any of that stuff. And she's not lying. The former prosecutor against a convicted felon. Who are you going to vote for in November? I know who I'm voting for. You want to vote for a rapist? You want to vote for a 34-count convicted felon? You go right ahead. We're going to take some phone calls on the other side of the break, and Ilana Drobkin is going to be joining us. Before I do so, I'll give out the number, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, 702-221-7283, if you do want to be a part of the show. This portion of the program is brought to you by Battle-Born Progress. Education is a fundamental right in this country, and Donald Trump endorses school choice. That is another voucher scheme, and that is what Battle-Born Progress believes in. We need leaders who understand public money needs to stay in our public schools, and we need leaders to know that this country depends on us, the workers. For more information, go check out their website, battlebornprogress.org. Again, that website, battlebornprogress.org. That number to call, 702-221-7283. We're also talking about possibly JD Vance's double lifestyle. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, all the right-wingers out there throw out conspiracy theories. I never do. I think JD Vance is having a secret sexual relationship with Lindsey Graham. I really do. That's my personal opinion. I really believe that. I'm just looking at those pictures, and I'm very happy for them. They look like a couple that's in love, and I think J.D. Vance's wife is another contractually obligated wife. I really do. The guy's changed his name several times. Look at the names that he's had in the past, and there is a, I guess you could say, connection there. But again, a lot of these right-wing evangelicals out there that, attack the gay community and are anti-gay marriage are usually those that are gay themselves. and they're not the ones that are able to come forward. They're not willing to come forward and say who they are. JD Vance, I believe, is that guy, and I'm going to stick by it. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll take your phone calls on the other side, 702-221-7283. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York-style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you could be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and food. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
Workers have been hit hard over the past few years. From the pandemic to inflation, it has often felt like we can't get ahead. Too many of us are struggling to afford rent, food, and other basic necessities. We need leaders who know that our country depends on us, the workers. If we succeed, everyone else succeeds. Our choice is clear this November. We must elect leaders who support our crucial role in this country, and that is not Donald Trump. Paid for by Battleborn Progress.
Tired of the same old date night? Craving a deeper connection with your partner? O-Box is your escape into a world of romance and passion. Each month, discover a box filled with personalized surprises, exciting activities, and a love story written just for the two of you. Ignite desire, share laughter, and make memories that last a lifetime. Your O-Box journey culminates into a beautiful love novel. Ready to write the first thrilling chapter? Let the O-Box adventure begin. Visit our website, obox.com. That's OBOXXX.com. And get started.
Hello, I'm Ron Quince, and I'm running for Congress as a nonpartisan candidate in District 1. I'm dedicated to serving our entire community. In this challenging time, it's more important than ever to have leaders who focus on unity and progress. I believe in putting people over politics and finding practical solutions that benefit us all. Never stop believing in America, no matter our troubles and turmoil. We can and we will do better. We must be brave. Stop voting for those politicians who care about their career and gaining power but don't improve our lives. I believe in America and I believe in you. You need a candidate who believes in policy over party because you deserve better. In Nevada, every voice matters. I humbly ask for your vote this coming election, November 5th. To learn how we can create a better America, please visit QuinceForNevada.com. Paid for by Ron Quince for Congress.
Time now for the most listened to talk show in Vegas. Talking with those on the right, the left, and everywhere in between. It's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
I hate everything about this Brian Shapiro guy.
This show will make you laugh, make you cry, and it might raise Brian's blood pressure.
You know what, dude? You know what, dude? People like you, all you do is make excuses for the orange turd, and I've had it.
Buckle up, because it's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro.
You're different. I like you.
Now, here's Brian.
By the way, the guy who said I hate that guy, Brian Shapiro, that was InfoWars when they did a segment on me. I wear that as a badge of honor, by the way, when InfoWars hates Brian Shapiro. Guess what? I hate you guys, too, and I hate everything you stand for, so the feeling is mutual. Welcome back to the show. It is Pushing the Limits. So before we get to my next guest, first of all, let me explain to all of you how much I love Jackson's Bar and Grill. It's the official gaming bar of PTL, and they're located at Flamingo and Jones. And every Tuesday this month, if you show your TAM card, you get $50 in free slot play. I was there the other day. Oh my God, the chicken Alfredo, it's incredible. The food there is phenomenal. It is phenomenal, second to none. Great staff, great atmosphere. It's just a family type atmosphere. That's what you want when you go to your local bar, right? Great food. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Check it out. So I get emails every day, and I mentioned this yesterday. People that love the show and they want to get involved. How can I help? Well, here's what I will say to that. Pushing the Limits is independently owned. What that means is we rely on good people like you that are fans of the show. So here's what you can do to help us and to keep things going. First, check out my website, completely free, pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live. You can sign up for the free newsletter. And if you really want to support what we do here, besides checking out the website, go to the merchandise page where you can buy a bunch of different really super cool items. And if you don't want to, you can also donate. Doesn't matter whether it's $5, $10, $20 a month, whatever you can afford. We appreciate it. And whatever you donate, I will personally reach out to you myself. Personally. So check it out, pushingthelimits.live. And joining me in studio right now, somebody that I know has done that. Why do I say that? Because the residential liberal of Pushing the Limits, Ilana Drobkin, is proudly wearing, which I appreciate, her Pushing the Limits t-shirt. Ilana, I appreciate you making that purchase. Thank you very much. It looks very good on you. Thank you.
It's an awesome shirt. It feels good. And I did a little modification because my 15-year-old said this is how all the cool people are wearing their shirts now. So, yeah, but it's a great shirt. It fits great. I also went on and bought a water bottle and a mug and a baseball cap. So everybody, come on, support your stuff. Send it in. Let's see your merch. I want to see it. Don't you want to see it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that again, that website, if you want to check it out, pushingthelimits.live. And I appreciate you guys supporting what we do here on the show. So, Ilana, I've talked about a lot of things in the first segment. I started with JD Vance changing his name multiple times, going to Yale, this idea that he was poor and nobody in his family had any money. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it, number one. Number two, we know that Donald Trump behind closed doors knows that he made a mistake. I talked to Anthony Scaramucci about this yesterday. This was a really bad VP pick, and I actually have a lot of confidence in Kamala Harris because there are multiple people that she can pick that I think would do a wonderful job. It is interesting because Pete Buttigieg has been making the rounds in not the capacity as the Secretary of Transportation, right?
Well, he can't, right? He can't talk about the campaign stuff as a member of the cabinet.
Yes, absolutely. So I do find that interesting that he's been making the rounds. Listen, I think Mayor Pete would do a great job. I like Pete a lot. I think he's a really smart guy. So we've been talking about that, and I've been talking about the Joe Biden speech last night, which I'm sure you saw.
It was humbling. I felt for him, and what a fantastic public servant, and what a great culmination to such a lifetime dedicated to the country.
Absolutely. And so I've been talking about that a little bit. And then the differences of speeches where you have Joe Biden, who I believe was very heartbeat yesterday.
Right, absolutely.
It was really nice to see
very
him.
pensive.
Well, that's when he's in his best element, I think. I know he's getting older, but he still has the heart, you know.
Can we say we have to give him props for being 81 years old and doing what he's been doing. I know a lot of people in their 70s or even early that would never be able to keep up that pace. So the fact that we're criticizing every little stumble he makes, I mean, I have parents who are not quite and they get things mixed up here and there. I get things mixed up here and there. And so the fact that he's doing what he does, like, we've got to give him, whether you hate him or not, he's a human being.
Absolutely.
Right?
And he's a good human being. And I would say Donald Trump is not, for obvious reasons.
Oh,
so,
absolutely. Neither is JD Vance. Like,
right.
I cannot listen to that man speak.
He is a two-faced fool, but he is a microcosm of where the Republican Party is at today. Compare Donald Trump
absolutely.
Compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler, and then several years later, hey, I think I like this guy. I think I like his policies. He might be the next Adolf Hitler, but you know what? I'm going to support him because it's better for my career.
Vance isn't much better than Trump is.
No,
he just has some intellect behind him where Trump doesn't, and that makes him more dangerous to me.
But here's the problem with JD Vance for Donald Trump. He is more dry and more boring than Mike Pence. He's got the personality of a dead ant.
Right.
And like Trump knows that. And I think he screwed himself, which I think he's been doing for a lot lately.
They got cocky
for a lot of different reasons.
Because they got cocky.
Yeah.
They were absolutely sure who they were going against would be Biden-Harris ticket, and they got cocky. So I think Josh Shapiro, that would be my pick for VP. I've watched Josh Shapiro for years. I think he would be awesome. Obviously, Pennsylvania then would... he's such a popular politician there. He gets, I think I read something, he got like 18% of Republicans when he ran for governor. So, I mean, that would be my pick. I like Bashir as well. I like
Bashir. He wouldn't be my number one pick. My number one pick would also be Shapiro. I think Kelly out of Arizona would be my number 2. I think Pete Buttigieg would be my number 3, and I think Bashir would be my number 4. That's how I rank it from
Bashir's a little more conservative, on the Democratic side, so you would get a little more of the crossovers. In the end, they have to. It's all about.
You need somebody that's strong, and I'm not. Listen, Bashir's a really smart guy, and he's doing a good job.
He really is, yeah.
But you need somebody that's even has more conviction, and I think Josh Shapiro is that guy. So,
and he has that personality. Yeah. He's very charismatic.
But before we get to the calls, you can't debate the fact that there's a lot of momentum on the side of Kamala Harris right now. I think she's done a pretty good job over the course of the last several days. And she's a smart woman. She can defend herself. She can defend her record. I'm not worried about that.
She's gotten a lot better in speaking.
Yeah, I think
much better.
I think the last couple days she's shown some conviction, and maybe just cool it with the. There's nothing wrong with smiling a lot, but just cool it with the laughing a little bit.
I kind of think it's a nervous. I see that as a nervous.
Yeah.
Thing where I think more that she gets into this element, because there's one thing of being and running as a vice president versus running on the top of the ticket, right? And especially right now where all eyes are on her. So I kind of see that as a nervous, and possibly just super excited, right? I mean, this is her second chance of, and it seems very, very real right now.
And I like her husband too. He seems like a really good dude.
Very nice,
Yeah, and nice
her
family.
Stepkids. That she helped raise.
I was just going to talk about that before we get to calls. You know what I love about this story, and I didn't know this about Kamala Harris. First of all, her and her husband are raising 2 kids. Right. It's from the husband's first marriage, right? And the wife
is supportive.
The original, the mother of the 2 children. In a lot of situations, it's a very volatile situation where that maybe the mother of those children can get nasty.
Right, there's some animosity.
It's the opposite in this family. And you know what? That's not only a testament to the mother and to the father,
but to Harris as well.
It's a testament to Kamala Harris, and it speaks to character, right?
Absolutely.
Do you see any of Donald Trump's ex-wives that have come forward?
And the kids have come out, and they're very close to Harris, and so it's a beautiful story. I mean, and you talk about diversity. I mean, couldn't get any more diverse than that, and especially if she picks, the Jewish VP, right? That would be amazing. I want to say that it's an interesting climate right now, right? Because this couldn't be better timing. They literally cut the legs off of Donald Trump right now. I mean, they literally, like, all the momentum that he had after the attempted assassination, which was awful, by the way. I want to, say, like, nobody on our side should.
I have a question, though.
With that.
I have a question. In regards to the assassination.
Shoot, tell me.
And again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, just a question. I just ask it as a question. The day after the shooting, Donald Trump was seen playing golf. He wasn't wearing the same bandage that he was wearing, the envelope bandage.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to kind of stop you right there because, even if now there's some speculation or question as to whether he was hit by shrapnel. He was definitely hit by something. I mean, you could see the blood. Or
I'm not debating that.
Or whether
Yeah.
it was a bullet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That had to be a horrifically terrifying.
No question.
Like, I mean, and not only that, but the aftermath of that, where you no longer feel safe.
Okay, but Ileana,
on a stage.
I understand what you're saying, but what I am saying is this. They are trying to paint him out, and when I say they, I mean MAGA Republicans.
Right, that side, right.
I'm not putting the entire Republican Party in this category, but those cultists that were wearing the ear bandages that look like complete idiots. It is a cult, and they're trying to paint him out to be some sort of hero, which he is not. In fact, he's the opposite of a hero.
Oh, he's definitely not a hero, but you know what? I do give him credit for then standing up, and I hate the fist bump thing. It just kind of has. It has symbolisms of like a Nazi salute, so I hate that whole image of it. But to have that presence of mind, I do give him credit for that. But I agree with you. And you know what? The poor man who was murdered, I feel for him. I feel for his family. But he was not shielding his kids. It came from behind. He didn't know what happened. It's horrific. But the fact that they're making him out to be some hero that he was shielding his kids, no, he was not.
Well, here's what I'll say in closing about the shooting. And then we'll take calls. Right-wing buffoons out there on social media and the Sean Hannitys of the world are saying, the Democrats, they're not talking about the assassination anymore. All they're talking about is Kamala Harris. No, Sean, Mr. Dad Bod. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the shooting, and we've been covering it, and we covered the hearings over the course of the last few days. The reason why we're not really talking about the shooting much now is because the investigation is ongoing and there's no new information at this time.
Can I make But can I make a comment about that? You talk about the investigation. Okay, so she was forced to resign. She looks like she was just not equipped for that job. It's how she handled more so the aftermath. It's what she did in the aftermath that angered even the people who were on her side. Because the fact is, he is not a sitting president, so he gets less protection from Secret Service than a sitting president, right?
Well, I'm glad that Joe Biden has given Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Secret Service attention, which, by the way, I thought that was a mistake. I thought Biden should have done that before, but I'm glad that changes are going to be made. And again, we'll see how this plays out. Let's get to the phone calls now.
And they were already stretched, by the way. Secret Service is already kind of stretched to the limit of what they're doing, but she just handled
these
it
were monumental
improperly.
failures by the Secret Service.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter whether you have an R or D next to your name, and there were clear failures. And, imagine, we have a black female president. It doesn't matter really who the president is. This can't happen. And it was an embarrassing situation.
We're much more volatile, sick.
Yeah.
Did you see where they're actually, sorry, really quick, because then people who are calling in can also weigh in on this. There's 3, I don't know what states they are. They're selling now ammunition in vending machines in grocery stores.
Yeah, well,
they're
that's
piloting out. I mean, how
again,
crazy and sick of a society are we?
Again, and this is why if Kamala Harris picks Kelly, we all know what happened to his wife. The gun control issue, they have no chance. They're not going to win the issue on 2 really important topics. Gun control and abortion. If you want to talk about the border, all Kamala Harris has to do is talk about that bipartisan bill that Trump said, for lack of a better term, shot that one down. All right, let's get to the calls now at 702-221-7283. Phone lines are jammed right now, so keep trying. Let's go to Chris. Chris is first up on PTL. Chris, thanks for calling in. Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Brian? It's Chris Nelson. I've been on your show before. I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, cool, my man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, great to talk to you. And as you know, I'm a Republican. I was just actually at a DeSantis press conference down in Aventura. But, I'm seeing some things that are disturbing to me as a Republican, and I don't want people to think that all Republicans feel this way. The Trump assassination attempt was absolutely horrible. But I'm seeing these memes going around that are, taking Bible verses out of context and trying to paint Trump as some kind of religious figure and trying to say that it was God's will for this bullet to to miss Trump and hit this innocent firefighter.
Yeah.
And I just want to refute that as a Christian and also as a Republican.
Well, good
that
for you.
Is not what. Yeah, that is not accurate. It's not biblical, and a lot of this stuff gets passed around social media, and people have this groupthink. They don't think for themselves anymore. They just listen to what they watch on Fox News. And
can I add to that, Chris? Can I add to that real quickly because I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. You're absolutely right. It drives me nuts what about all the innocent children that have been killed in schools? I guess God wasn't looking over them. Exactly. But I also want to add something else to what Chris just said. On social media, people attack me for all sorts of different reasons. And one of the attacks is, you get your information from the DNC. You get paid from the DNC. And these people are so stupid. What they don't understand is I'm my own entity. Nobody tells me what I can or can't say. I watch a little bit of Fox News because I have to, not because I want to. I watch a little bit of CNN because I do enjoy watching CNN more, but I watch both sides. And then I make my own determination, and people somehow take that as you're getting fed stuff from the DNC.
No, and we also and I know Brian does read voraciously, a multitude of columns. So it's not just cable news where we're seeing.
Chris, you're right, and Ilana, and Chris, I want to ask you something else. As a Christian man, because you sound like a really intelligent guy. What do you make of the evangelical right defending Donald Trump and his sexcapades? Forget about the criminality. Let's put that to the side. What about the behavior? How does a Christian person support that?
Well, I don't know when the church went the way it's gone, and then become a lot of churches. They become the Church of MAGA, and it was really. It was a guy that was charged with that had the sexual problems himself, and he had to step down from Liberty University. Mm-hmm. It was that pastor that Jerry Falwell Jr., who actually came out and in 2016 proclaimed to Christians that it's okay what Trump has done in the past, the sleeping with porn stars, all that stuff. He's okay. He's okay with God. Well, then he got caught in his own sexual problems. Here's the thing, Brian. When it comes down to behavior, we've all messed up, and the message of Christianity, we've all sinned, we've fallen short of the glory of God, but we need a Savior, and that's Jesus. But there needs to be repentance in there. There needs to be a repentance process of, I did this wrong, I am turning another corner, and I'm not going to ever be doing this again. And I'm admitting that I'm wrong about it. This is something you never see from Trump, and he said this over and over again, that he doesn't need to repent, that he doesn't, and that is not Christian. And I'm not saying that there's a lot of people that aren't Christian. I'm friends with a lot of people that aren't Christians.
We're not Christian here.
The thing is when evangelical Christians try to turn this guy into I even saw a post that was calling him from a major conservative MAGA commentator that was saying that Trump might be the Messiah.
Oh my God!
And this is stuff, he doesn't refute this.
And you mentioned you're absolutely right, Chris. And great phone call, by the way. It's good to hear from you, and I appreciate you. You mentioned Falwell. I just want to comment on that real quick. Falwell was the guy. It was Liberty University, I believe.
Liberty,
Women and men holding hands and kissing. He was calling that out and didn't want to see that on campus. 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids that are kissing a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. He was calling that out. And meanwhile, this was the same guy who was dropping his pants and pleasuring himself to watching his wife bang another man. These people are and by the way, I want to be very clear on this. I don't care what you do behind closed doors as long as you're not breaking the law. But don't be a hypocrite and don't tell us what we can and can't do, you freaking hypocrite.
Hold on. I also want to say this: Trump had the rights love, or the Christians' love with Trump has nothing to do with that, other than he's been their puppet that could overturn Roe. This was all choreographed for the last 50 years since Roe to overturn Roe.
Right.
And not only to overturn Roe, to go after contraceptives, but to go after to just go after a woman's right to do anything with her body when it comes to becoming impregnated and what happens with that. This was all coordinated. So it's not Trump the man. It was what he could do for them. So he brought them to the dance. They're going to stick with him.
I love these people out there that call themselves
They don't
pro-life.
necessarily like
you know,
him.
and Donald Trump, who wants to overturn Roe versus Wade. How many abortions do you think Donald Trump was a part of in his life? 702-221-7283. Let's go to Beverly.
There goes the hypocrisy.
Beverly is next up on PTL. Hi, Beverly. What's going on?
Hi, how are you today?
Good.
I'm calling because I wanted to comment on the situation at hand. I don't understand how the Republicans can back a man who has no line that he won't cross. The fact that he got up and took 95 minutes to boost his ego at the RNC tells me that it's still all about him. He does not care about the citizens of this country. He has no humility. He doesn't. He will use any words he can to create chaos and promote division. And the people are not listening. They're listening to what they want to hear. They're not listening to what he's truly saying.
Can I add something to that? I want to add something to what you just said, because what would you say to all the, for lack of a better term, buffoons out there that bought into the fact that Donald Trump was a changed man, that he was going to bring people together? That lasted about 5 minutes. It lasted 5 minutes in his speech where he was just reading from a teleprompter. And I think if and when, and I do believe now that I think that Kamala Harris has the advantage, if in fact, and we all hope here, at least in this room, that Donald Trump does not win,
absolutely,
we can look back at a lot of different things. But I believe his speech at the RNC convention was the start of his downfall. Now, I'm talking about
if people didn't turn it off, right? The first 20 minutes
Right.
where the recollection, that was good, and then
he had
went
the
off
upper
rails.
hand there. That was before Joe Biden stepped aside. But Donald Trump had the upper hand, and he decided to attack and call Nancy Pelosi names, to attack Joe Biden,
But his
to
base
talk about
likes that.
Hannibal Lecter.
But his base likes that. That is his
That's
base.
what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. He whatever moment he can get to be in the limelight and boost his ego up,
Sure.
he does that.
Sure.
No matter how he has to do it.
Yep.
What the people are not paying attention to, in my opinion, is the same thing that they have not been paying attention to. He is determined to be in the White House so he can protect himself and his so-called followers.
I completely agree. Yep.
They don't understand that he has thrown some of his people under the bus.
Some,
I would imagine
most.
if Weisselberg
them.
could come back. I would imagine if Weisselberg could do things over, he'd think about, do I really want to work for this gentleman and a lot of other people?
Yeah.
People warned this country about Donald Trump before he got elected.
Well, yeah, a lot of that. You know what? I would add to that.
Yeah.
And I would add to that. And by the way, thank you so much for the call, Beverly. You made a lot of great points there. Most of the Republicans that were running against him said he was not competent, including Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz,
But they came back because they can no longer
Nikki
get
Haley.
through, but they can no longer get through Republican primaries in their own areas without him or without that. That is what he has taken over that party. So so now you have the Democrats, you have the mainstream Republicans, the few that there is now, and then you have the MAGA. Right? The Republicans are no longer the Republican Party. It's MAGA. And that's kind of the issue. So when people get sick of Trump, if they do, then you'll see more mainstream Republicans come back on and get elected.
Before we get back to the calls, I'll just say quickly here that there's going to be a lot of Republicans and moderate Republicans that might not say it publicly. They ain't voting for Donald Trump. I don't know if they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. They ain't voting for Donald Trump. 702-221-7283. One phone line open. Let's go to Howard. Howard is next up on PTL. Hi, Howard. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tallahassee.
Tallahassee. All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Florida today.
Yes. Ron DeSantis country. Hey, Howard, can you send me those white Ron DeSantis boots? I think they're very sexy.
Send us
I'll send them. I'll send them with a pair of gold Trump shoes with them.
I appreciate that. Howard, what's on your mind today, my friend? I'm glad you called in. What's on your mind?
I want to get your opinion. You know, I know your last name is Shapiro, and I've heard. I'm not going to assume. I'm going to assume you're Jewish, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you assumed correctly.
Jewish background.
I'm not an extremely religious person. I don't pretend to be Ben Shapiro and put a yarmulke on my head and say that I'm a better Jew than everybody else. I think that guy's a complete scumbag. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I wanted to ask you is, what's your opinion on Kamala Harris and half of the Democratic Congress skipping Netanyahu's speech, not greeting him when he's off the plane?
Yeah.
This is an ally to the United States in a time of war.
Sure. I think that's
the Democratic candidate isn't there.
I think that's a really, really good question. And I've talked about this before on the show. So I think these are two different things.
Yep.
Where the Democrat Party is and where my criticism is of the Democratic Party when it comes to Israel, and then Benjamin Netanyahu. So let me talk about Israel first. What I am disappointed in with the Democrat Party are the extreme lefties that I think are not good people. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. What I am upset at is we don't see the Hakeem Jeffries and those on the left calling them out. And I'm not talking about when Ilhan Omar makes a stupid statement like it's all about the Benjis. I'm talking about Tlaib and her voting record and the statements they've made, not willing to call out Hamas, yada, yada, yada. It's a problem within the Democrat Party. And I want to see Kamala Harris speak out on that a little bit more. Now, that's number one. Number two, I don't have any criticism for Kamala Harris not meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. I think Benjamin Netanyahu is Donald Trump on steroids. I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu.
Right.
I think he's a right-wing conspiracy theorist. I think he's made a lot of mistakes when it comes to defending Israel. And I think, in my personal opinion, I don't have a problem with Kamala Harris not meeting with him. Now, Joe Biden is. And Joe Biden has a lot of issues with Benjamin Netanyahu. And by the way, so do I. Israel has the right to defend themselves, but they also need to be responsible with what they are doing. And I think they've made a lot of mistakes. With that being said, I support Israel. I think most of the Democrats support Israel.
Can I talk about how this has been politicized by the Republicans? By the way, I'm also Jewish and very, very proud of that. But I will tell you that this issue is super complicated. That the problem is you have Hamas is the government, right? They are the government of the Palestinian territory. You have so many of the people there, not all obviously, and a lot of them have to pretend to be supportive of Hamas or they'll be murdered. But you do have quite a bit of the upper crust that are supportive of Hamas, and they're regular everyday people. They're doctors, and there's actually one of the people that was taken recounted how they were in a doctor's home. It wasn't right. It was in a home. Mm-hmm. And so they're supportive of. So if you're Israel and you're trying to make sure this doesn't happen again, there's no way to root out the terrorists because they are amongst the general
I agree,
people.
but that's my criticism for the Democrat Party when it comes to Israel. I'll let you respond to that, Howard. It is complicated. Howard, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to get some clarification. She said that this whole issue is being politicized. Like, just to be clear, are you saying that?
Oh, sorry, on the right.
Democrats.
Yeah, well,
right,
on both sides, but it's you're either on the right, you're either pro-Israel or you're against Israel, and that's like you can't do that. Like it's super complicated.
I think it's a very vocal minority who's against Israel, and that vocal minority is the ones that are defacing monuments, beating up police officers, and rioting.
There's such an ignorance, and I want to bring up this. So Russia, I don't know if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, blew up a children's hospital, a cancer hospital in Ukraine. Where was the outrage on that? It was a blurb in the paper. Where's the outrage?
Well,
Where's the outrage?
Many
on
of the
that?
people on the far, and by the way, Howard, thank you for the call. I think
thank you, Howard.
I think that's a really good question you asked. So I would say this. A lot of the people on the far right, many of them are pro-Israel, are the same kinds of people that are pro-Putin. They call Zelensky a Nazi.
Who's Jewish, by
and
the way.
They call him a Nazi, and they have these conspiracy theories. So I want consistency. Yes.
There's so much ignorance on both sides.
I believe we should be pro-Israel. As I think I take the side of Joe Biden in pretty much everything he said about this war. They have the right to defend themselves. They have a responsibility. But yes, we should be pro-Israel. We all should be pro-Ukraine. Now, if you don't like all the money that we've sent over there for artillery, then that's a fair conversation to have. But Ukraine is our allies. They are not Nazis. And Israel has a right to defend themselves. And unfortunately, Benjamin Netanyahu is a right-wing nut who I do not support. I support Israel. I do not support Benjamin Netanyahu.
And you can do both and be complete and still be pro-Israel and pro what's right. But you have to be pro-humanity, right? So we can be. Listen, I had family in Israel, so we're absolutely pro-Israel, but we have to be pro-humanity.
Yeah.
Right. All those babies and civilians that died, they don't deserve to die. They're casualties of war. But it'll only go back to Ukraine. If Ukraine falls, Taiwan will fall. And it's going to be the dictators out there that are going, hey, I want this country next. And you're going to see, because if the United Nations isn't strong enough to prevent this from happening, you're going to see a realignment of the war. You can't have that where an autonomous nation gets taken over by another autonomous nation. We've seen this throughout history.
Yeah, no question. 702.
That's the fear.
702-221-7283. Again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. 702-221-7283. Why don't we go to Diamond? I believe we have Diamond next on PTL. Hi, Diamond. Where are you calling from?
Great name.
Los Angeles. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to touch on what you just said about being pro-humanity. Let's start within our own borders here. I am sick and tired of hearing the word pro-life, pro-life, pro-life. You bastards are not pro-life. You're pro-birth. The child gets here. The kid has to get fed. The kid has to be clothed. The kid has to be educated. And they want to cut programs, holding on to that money exclusively for the big giant-ass tax cut they want for the mega wealthy and corporate America. I'm so sick of hearing that word pro-life, and I honestly feel like you lied on your job application and you lied in the job interview. All the candidates for the Supreme Court said Roe v. Wade is the law of the land, and now a 6-3 majority, y'all overturned a law that was law of the land for the past 50 years.
Right, and then Donald Trump will play it off as, well, I'm just leaving it to the states. No. First of all, the reason why Roe versus Wade was overturned, yes, it was the conservative Supreme Court justices, but who put that into place? It was Donald Trump. He brags about overturning Roe versus Wade to appease his conservative MAGA cult clan base. But then in Arizona, it wasn't led up to the state. It was led up to the Supreme Court in the state. Same thing with Alabama. So the idea that they'll say, well, we're just going to leave it up to the voters, that is also a lie. There are plenty of radical Supreme Court justices in states throughout the country that will do what Arizona did, and luckily they overturned it. But the idea that, and again, it goes to Project 2025, and conservatives don't want to talk about that, but the idea that to ban abortion nationwide, you want to, Donald Trump says that Kamala Harris is a radical Democrat. The radical Democrats. What have the Democrats done that you would consider crazy radical? The Republicans want to ban abortion across the country with no exceptions. These are the radicals. Give me a break.
But Diamond, I absolutely agree with you. We need, assistance with daycare. Like that stuff should be everything. Everyone should be able to go to work and be able to have childcare. Childcare is so ridiculously expensive. It's cost prohibitive. So I absolutely agree with you. There should be free childcare that is help funded by the state. There should be assistance with food, and have better education options. I completely agree with you. They are pro fetus, and I've always said that it's not pro life.
Yeah,
you're pro fetus, and you don't care about the life of the mother or the family unit. So you're absolutely correct on that.
Thank you for the call, by the way, Diamond. Really good call. I appreciate you. Number to call if you want to be a part of the show, by the way. Now's a good time to do it. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Why don't we go to Nelson? I believe we have Nelson who's next on PTL. Hi, Nelson. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
What's going on? How's everyone doing?
Good.
Hi, Nelson.
You know, this is how you know he didn't change. Because before that speech, the president was diagnosed with COVID. We all know how deadly COVID can be for someone in this age bracket.
Sure.
And when he brought up President Biden, not once did he offer any sympathy for President Biden to get well and come back a healthy man. Not one time throughout that whole tirade of him going after people. That man didn't change. He will never change.
Well, Trump's a narcissist. Narcissists don't change. So for the fact that anyone is thinking that somehow a near assassination attempt is going to somehow make him kinder or more thoughtful of people, he's in his latter 70s. Like he's never going to change, and everyone needs to stop pretending
but the new message and the new message coming from the right is, well, if you don't have any children, you're just a childless cat lady.
That's what JD Vance. That's another thing that I'd like to talk with you guys about, and I'm glad you brought that up, because JD Vance, very, very strange. He's trying to make the case that if somebody doesn't have kids, somehow their opinions are not as strong,
or they're not capable to do the job.
Yeah, it's really bizarre
or if
and
you own
weird.
Cats, is that a problem?
Yeah,
too now?
I don't understand what JD Vance is talking about, and the comments he's made in the past about women. Listen, I've said it before, I've said it today, and I'll say it again. Donald Trump did not do himself any favors by picking JD Vance as his vice president. No. I mean, this is worse than the Mike Pence pick. At least the Mike Pence pick, Pence didn't make these comments about women, and it's just weird.
Pence was more of a serious lawmaker, though.
Right.
That's like Vance is a MAGA wannabe.
Yeah, I mean, he's
different.
Who's I'm trying to think of Madison Cawthorn. Is that the guy I'm thinking of? The guy who's in the wheelchair. He almost reminds me a little bit of Cawthorn, only maybe not as brash and as loud, but it's like the flip flopping and the attacks on women. And this is the same guy again who we got to keep repeating this, who once compared Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up.
No, you cannot. And look, the writing's on the wall. They're saying don't worry about it, and yet you have Project 2025, a 900-page manifesto that would completely undermine our whole system of government. And just say one quick thing about his comments. He even said that women who are in, abusive relationships don't get out of it, just stay in it. So continue getting abused.
Absurd. Yeah, tell that to
Nicole. Your significant other.
Yeah, tell that to Nicole Brown Simpson's family. I mean, it's just
he's on the wrong side of the world. He belongs in the Middle East.
There are so many women who are in horrible situations, and some men too. And for him to make a statement like that is so beyond the pale and so complicit.
But who is he?
He is such an embarrassment. And thank you, by the way, for the call,
yes,
my friend.
But
I appreciate it.
Who is he to make those statements? Who is he to tell people what they should do? Or is it the Republican Party, the people that are supposed to be less government, and yet they seem to want to have their fingers in every part of our lives?
Yeah, right? a lot of the they say they don't want government involved, but yet when it comes to basically
they want to tell
every other issue,
they
want to.
And it's just to legislate everything. It's I mean, we've really flip flopped from.
Listen, here's what it says it all. Okay, conservatives, most of them, Republicans, want to tell a woman what to do with their own body, but they'll complain about Kamala Harris wanting to get rid of plastic straws. That is the Republicans in a nutshell in 2024. Let's get back to the calls. Let's go to Annie. Annie is calling up next on PTL. Hi, Annie. Where are you calling from?
Hey, from Talent, Oregon.
Oregon.
Hey,
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. Here's another Jew joining the both of you.
Hello. Welcome to the tribe.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I've called him before. I haven't been able for a long time. I want to cut to the chase because there's so many things, but regarding Netanyahu, where I lived in Israel. Okay, listen. He is in the same friggin' tank of running from the law. He's exactly another in the same, I'm sorry, I get so upset about these things.
You're doing good.
He is in trouble in Israel, running and doing all these things. Aside from the horrible war, what I haven't been able to call in, and I just caught the last part of this. good opportunity is what I'm dead curious about. Here he's meeting with the turd, and I wanted to get both of your response about, I know pretty much why he wants to meet with who, but what is your response to that, especially going to Mar-a-Lago? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, here's why Donald Trump is doing what he, and by the way, thank you so much for the call, dear.
Netanyahu likes Trump.
Please call back. Oregon, I've never been out there. I've always wanted to. Good football team out there.
I have a
good
cousin
college
who
football.
lives out there.
So here's my opinion on why Donald Trump is doing what he's doing and meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's the same reason why he meets with Viktor Orban. It's the same reason why he meets with certain black members in churches. And the reason is, number one, Donald Trump has a lot in common with Benjamin Netanyahu, but more importantly, number two, he does this to appease the base, and he does this because he only makes decisions of meeting with certain types of people if they align with him, for the most part. Right. Now, I'll give you an example on that. Mr. Fuentes and Kanye West. Let me be very clear on this, okay? This was at the same time when Kanye West was praising Adolf Hitler. Yep. And Donald Trump in the past has said Adolf Hitler had some good qualities. Donald Trump said that. And he met with Kanye West and had dinner with Kanye West. He knew exactly who Nick Fuentes was, who was a known Nazi, okay, and a Nazi sympathizer. And then when he got blowback because the meeting went public, it was leaked. He didn't want it to go public. But the reason why Donald Trump meets with these kinds of people is because he can relate to them. Make no mistake about it.
He wants to be them.
I believe Donald Trump.
He likes their power.
He said it before. I mean,
he said it a lot of times.
Should we put a guy in the Oval Office again who Kim Jong-un misses? Donald Trump has said that himself, that Kim Jong-un misses him. Donald Trump has never called out Vladimir Putin for anything. Is this the guy that you want to be put in the Oval Office because you claim your gas prices are too high because of Joe Biden, even though no MAGA Republican can name an actual policy that has put that in place? 702-221-7283. Let's go to Maggie. Maggie is next up on PTL. Hi, Maggie. Thanks for calling in. Where are you calling from?
Hi, guys. Thanks for picking up my phone. I'm calling from Michigan.
Michigan. All right.
Oh, nice.
What's on your mind today, Maggie?
Okay, so this really important guy that everyone keeps talking about, who you guys were just talking about, can I call him, Benjamin? Can we do a first name basis?
Benji. We can call him Benji. Yeah, Benji.
Yep.
What do you got for me?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody else saw it, but I was able to catch his whole little speech yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sat the whole thing and watched it. And, some of the familiar faces were there, sitting where they were, chit-chat beforehand, whatever. And after the guy came in, he started to talk and speak and sound all, powerful, whatever. And then he said, by the way, while this was going on the inside, there's protesters going on the outside. Okay, so this is all happening at the same time. This is fun. So he's all blabbing along. And then he says something.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny because he says, those protesters, those signs, they should say KFC. And the whole room just went silent.
Yeah.
And some of them looked at each other like, Kentucky Fried Chicken? What is he talking about?
Nobody knew what he was talking about. But here's the point of the speech that I found interesting, right? And I think we'll all agree on this. Well, I am pro-Israel, and I didn't support a lot of these protests. And yeah, I do think there were a portion of those people that were idiots. The idea that you would he characterized them all as useful idiots. Let me tell you something. I've spoken to some good people that are Palestinian, and even though I might disagree with them on their take on Israel, there were good people at those protests as well that care about all innocent lives lost, whether that is an innocent Israeli or an innocent Palestinian. They're all tragedies. And some of those people, not all of them, but some of those people are not useful idiots. They're actually decent people that are losing family members. And I feel for them just like I feel for the people in Israel.
And that's why I say
for
this
Benjamin
is complicated.
for Benjamin Netanyahu to characterize all those people that were protesting as useful idiots makes him a useful idiot, because there were some good people that were protesting and that were not violent. They weren't making defamatory comments about Israeli people. They just want the violence to stop, and that's admirable. Now, we can disagree with how we get there, but he characterized all those people as useful idiots, and that is irresponsible.
You have Jews who are very much pro-Israel and have family there who don't like what's going on. So it's not just, but again, it's complicated. So I really feel for the people who are caught on both sides, not the terrorists, not Hamas, not the people who are loyal to Hamas, but the average day citizen that's just trying to survive, that just wants the best for their kids. Like, those are the people that I really feel for. And you will find that a lot of Israelis feel that too.
I'm getting sick of this guy, Benjamin Netanyahu, and I got to tell you something. They need a new president.
I'm more sick of Trump.
I am as well. But Benjamin Netanyahu is not helping the situation any.
No.
And there are a lot of people in Israel, and there are people that I talk to that are Israeli people, some who I talk to who are not happy with him either. They need a new president. Okay, he is a radical far right.
But it's not going to be until after the war. Like,
Yes.
They're going to, like, this is, you know, he's going to take that on. Yeah, no, it's extremely complicated. We can't pretend to just, you know, I'm for Israel, I'm for Palestine. Listen, the people on the left, like the Omars, that they're just ignorant.
I wanted to ask
me, they're just wildly ignorant.
Yes, I agree. I wanted to ask the caller, how's my girl Gretchen Whitmer doing out there?
Love Whitmer.
Good. She's always been great.
Good.
She's fantastic, actually. So
I think her
know,
time is in 4 years. Let's give her maybe 4 years, 8 years, where either she'll run for president or a vice president. I just don't think her time is right now.
Not right
Let's
now.
give it 4 years or 8 years. But I think she's a really good person, and she's a good governor, and I do support her 150%.
Me too.
Can I ask you guys a question that
Sure.
I thought came?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so I was like, well, okay, so what could be worse? Because I heard your little conversation, I think it might have been yesterday, where you're like, oh, I don't know if people are ready for a gay vice president. And I was like, oh, I can see the intimidation with that. I was like, well, what's more intimidating? A female president and a female vice president that are straight, or, you know,
Well,
president, female, straight.
I will
And-
give you. I will give
I'm
you.
not saying those violence you
Yeah.
often.
No, I understand.
But,
I understand.
well.
I understand where you're going with that, and it's a good question. I'll answer it, and thank you for the call, by the way. So, when I talk about these things, I'm not talking about me.
Right.
I have no problem with 2 women on a ticket. I have no problem with a gay president and/or vice president. When I say I'm concerned about them winning. Now, I think 2 women on the ticket is a mistake, not because I wouldn't support it, not because I'm sexist.
We're not ready yet.
I'm
as a
not
country.
sure this country is ready yet for
as a country in its entirety.
Let's do one step at a time. We've already had a black male president in Barack Obama. Let's try to get that first female president in office. Hillary tried. Let's try to get Kamala Harris in. Let's get a male vice president underneath her. And then we can talk about that down the road, but I don't think now's the time. Let's do one step at a time. As far as a gay president or vice president, listen, I think Pete Buttigieg is extremely qualified, extremely intelligent.
Well spoken.
It's
has
not
a
that-
great resume. Absolutely.
But there are people in this country,
Yep.
maybe even moderates, that wouldn't vote for him because he's gay. Now, I think that's wrong. I think you're an idiot if that's the way you
Let's
vote.
try to get the first.
But-
wouldn't Shapiro be the first gay, or sorry, the first Jewish
Yeah.
vice president, right? Because
Joe
Lieberman
Lieberman,
was,
yep.
but they didn't win. But
Correct.
if the Harris ticket were to win,
Yeah.
it would be the first. That would go a long way.
Correct. It
I
would.
feel.
It would. So that's my best answer that I can give you. I believe that for Kamala Harris, she's going to pick one of 4 people.
Yeah.
It's going to be either Kelly in Arizona, Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Bashir, or Pete Buttigieg. I think it's going to be one of those 4 people. And
Or the other one, the one that's not as well known. I'll come back to that.
not as
Like,
well known
that's-
for you either, apparently.
Just sorry,
I'll let you think about that.
escaped my,
I'll let you think about that. But here's what I'll do. I'll take one more phone call, and then I got to go to break. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up. Who do we have next? We have Debbie, who's next. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hi. I've been listening to your show recently. I enjoyed your conversations and your views.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just wanted to give my view on the abortion.
Sure.
I'm a 68-year-old woman, Hispanic woman, in fact, and I had an abortion, a medical abortion. I had to have. And it infuriates me to see the Christian side of this, that they stand behind Trump because they're pro-life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was I believe it's our choice as a woman for our body.
Agree. Yep.
To do what we want to do, and if it's wrong, we're the ones that have to answer to the Almighty, not you,
right?
Not him,
right?
Not nobody else. Trump ain't going to have to answer for me.
Yep.
I'm going to have to answer for myself.
Sure.
Right?
Yep. I agree
and
with you.
So it really ticks me off to see that the Christians stand behind Biden only because they're pro-life. I'm pro-life, you know, but
make no mistake when they call themselves pro-life. Listen, I hate to go back to the whole George Carlin skit, but it rings true today in 2024. They call themselves pro-life, but as soon as the baby is born, they're against maternity leave. They're against any government program that will help a single mother raise that child, whether it be food stamps or welfare or you name it. And then as soon as they turn 18 years old, then they can go serve. But they don't want to help the poor. Let me tell you something. The party of pro-life are the Democrats. They want to give a woman the right to choose, and they don't go on and jump up and down, you know, on a trampoline when a woman has an abortion. But that's the way that Republicans would like to paint it out to be. The Democrats are not celebrating.
I don't think women just go out there and get abortions because they want to.
Exactly what I was going to say.
I don't think prostitutes go out there and get abortion because they want to anymore.
Right.
You know, I think they take care of themselves. The ones that are making money, you know, making a living out of it, I think they take care of themselves that they don't get pregnant.
Statistically,
you know?
most women who get abortion, it's because there's a severe medical issue which determines the baby renders the baby not viable upon birth. It's a severe risk to the mother's life. Or in cases like most of the women are married and they already have several kids and it's a financial issue.
Yeah.
But, you know, no one's going like, hey, I want to have an abortion today. It's a serious issue. It's a very heartfelt, emotional issue.
Absolutely. And I want to tell the caller, I'm so sorry for what
absolutely.
I'm so sorry for what you had to go through. That sounds terrible. And I'm glad you're doing okay. That's a horrible experience, and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. And the last thing I would ever do is ask middle-aged, white, crusty old men to tell you women what to do with their bodies. It's an embarrassment, and they are embarrassing.
Or even young, crusty,
and even if it was a medical issue, we women carry that with us the rest of our life.
Like the fact that they downplay the emotions that a woman goes through in making those choices, like I find that abhorrent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we need to turn that around.
Well, thank you, dear, for calling in. And I love, I'm sad that you had to go through that, but it's important that you share your story and people understand what you had to go through in different life experiences. Yep. And that's why I listen to people like you. It's why I listen to people that look differently than me, whether race or gender. I listen to different life experiences, and it's called having empathy for people, something that so many people on the far right don't have. Thank you so much for the call, dear. I appreciate you. All right, we got to take a break. Okay. Before I take a break, though, Ileana, speaking of the
Cooper,
shirt,
North Carolina. I just want to. That's
Cooper.
He's in contention.
I think he's too old. I'll be honest with you. I like him. Think he's a good guy. Think he's too old. We need somebody younger on the ticket. That's why.
Yeah, mine is Shapiro.
I like Cooper. I think he's too old, and I think we've been there before. Let's not go there again. But I respect him a great deal. All right. Here's what I want to tell you guys about real quickly before we go to break, and then we'll take some more phone calls on the other side. So I have a new website. It's called pushingthelimits.live. This is a radio show that is independently owned, meaning I'm not paid by a company. I own all my own content. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I have loyal advertisers that support the show, and I'm very grateful to them, and I'm very grateful to all of you because of the large audience that I have throughout the country. But I hear people every day say, Brian, how can I get involved? How can I help? Well, obviously word of mouth, telling people about the show. That's all great, and I appreciate that. Check out my website. That's step number one. pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website, pushingthelimits.live, where you can sign up for the free newsletter. How can you support what I do? Well, we sell merchandise on there. The lovely shirt that Ilana is wearing right now, it looks great on her. We sell merchandise on there. If you don't want to buy merchandise, you can donate. And we've had a few donations today. Jeff, I appreciate your donation. I have Martha. Martha calling out of, or I should say, bought a couple shirts out of Massachusetts. I don't know. Is that a correlation to Martha's Vineyard? I don't know. But Martha, thank you so much. She bought a couple "Don't Be a Right-Wing Buffoon" shirts, which are selling well.
Take pictures and send in your pictures wearing your merch.
Yes.
Or drinking out of your merch.
I am all for that. So that's how you can really get involved. And by the way, as far as donating, doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you can afford. It could be $5, could be $20, a few bucks a month.
It all adds up to support Brian, to support the show, to support expenses.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And if you donate, you will be hearing personally from me. I will reach out to you and thank you personally.
I actually do a monthly donation, whatever I can that month, and because I do appreciate, and my mom's listening, and
well, that's awesome. I appreciate
and so
that.
we want to make sure that we support Brian and all his endeavors, because we need people with independent voices.
Absolutely.
So much more media is being owned and controlled by mostly a lot of right wing. So we need those independent voices.
Absolutely. But anyway, that's how you can get involved, and that's how you can help the show. Check out the website, pushingthelimits.live. We'll take a quick break. We'll take some more phone calls on the other side. I think it's going to be a very interesting few weeks and a very interesting 4 months politically. I will ask you all, and we will discuss this when we come back. What do you want to see from the Democrat Party? What do you want to see from Kamala Harris that you believe can actually put her over the top? We'll discuss that when we come back. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Education is a fundamental right in the United States. Too many politicians, including Donald Trump, want to give voters a false sense of choice by promoting school choice. This is just another voucher scheme that will divert public money and send it to private schools. By diverting that money, we are hurting our children's education. We need leaders who understand the importance of keeping public money in public schools. Paid for by Battleborn Progress.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at radioyou101.com.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and food. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Tired of the same old date night? Craving a deeper connection with your partner? O-Box is your escape into a world of romance and passion. Each month, discover a box filled with personalized surprises, exciting activities, and a love story written just for the two of you. Ignite desire, share laughter, and make memories that last a lifetime. Your O-Box journey accumulates into a beautiful love novel. Ready to write the first thrilling chapter? Let the O-Box adventure begin. Visit our website, obox.com. That's OBOXXX.com and get started.
Hello, I'm Ron Quince, and I'm running for Congress as a nonpartisan candidate in District 1. I'm dedicated to serving our entire community. In this challenging time, it's more important than ever to have leaders who focus on unity and progress. I believe in putting people over politics and finding practical solutions that benefit us all. Never stop believing in America, no matter our troubles and turmoil. We can and we will do better. We must be brave. Stop voting for those politicians who care about their career and gaining power but don't improve our lives. I believe in America and I believe in you. You need a candidate who believes in policy over party because you deserve better. In Nevada, every voice matters. I humbly ask for your vote this coming election, November 5th. To learn how we can create a better America, please visit quincefornevada.com. Paid for by Ron Quince for Congress.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Mark, who just made a donation. Mark out of Virginia to the Pushing the Limits show. Thank you, Mark, for your contribution. Number to call 702-221-7283. The official gaming bar of Pushing the Limits. It is by far my favorite gaming bar in town. It's Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Every Tuesday this month, you show your TAM card. You instantly get $50 in free slot play. The bartenders are great there. The atmosphere is great. It's a super cool local
I hear the
bar.
Food is great.
It
I've had
really
other people
is.
tell me that.
Yeah, the food there is unbelievable. Brian Slipbach and Robin will take care of you over there. They know how to run a business. I'll say that. They do a wonderful job, and they treat everybody like family. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Please check it out. So before we get back to the calls at 702-221-7283, Kamala Harris speaking today, and in her speech, she talked about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and it's a very clear distinction, which is something that I believe she needs to continue to do to separate Democrat policies with Republican policies, which I think are just absolutely insane, especially when it comes to guns and banning books. Here's what just a little snippet of what Kamala had to say about that today.
So we want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. Can you imagine?
She's right.
Yep.
Keep hammering that home. When you hear Republicans, they will talk about drag queen reading and banning books, and they make it sound like drag queens indoctrinating our kids, which, by the way, they're not as a whole.
Not at all.
And they'll make it sound like that's more dangerous to children, a drag queen reading
Than
in
an
public.
AR-15.
Right.
Yep.
It's insane. These people are crazy. And Kamala Harris needs to continue to hit that home. And I'm so glad that she's starting to do that, because I didn't feel like Joe Biden did enough of it. And it sounds to me that she's ready to fight and that she's ready to bring up these topics on a daily basis, which is what we've needed for a long time. It's been one of my criticisms of Joe, and he's been a really good president. He's a good man. He wasn't aggressive enough. You need to hit that home. They want to ban books, okay? We want to ban assault weapons. They want to ban drag queen reading. We want to make sure that bad people don't get their hands on guns.
Well, she's in a more unique position than him. One, he spent a lifetime being that crossover, right? He was friends with the Republicans. He's kind of friends with everyone. So he was trying to, maybe too idealistically thinking that those people would still be with him, his Republican friends. Yeah. You know, when he ascended to the presidency, and that just wasn't it. So I think Harris is under no delusion that, you know, that the people on the other side of the aisle, there's not going to be a lot of support or crossover assistance, even if it's in the benefit of the country.
Yes.
We're just not in that space and time right now.
100%. Yes.
So, yeah.
I agree with you, but I'm glad that she's starting to hit home
Me too.
these topics. I think it's
listen, I'm an author.
really
I find
important.
it reprehensible that
Yeah.
that we're now having these outside groups who I'm sure half of them can't even read or have no idea what the classics are.
I want to mention this real quickly since we
Yeah,
are
please.
talking a little bit about gun control. You know, you see the RNC cultists, the Klan cults, joining together when Donald Trump's ear is pierced. Now, I am not trying to make light of the situation, as I've said since it happened. It's a horrible situation, very dangerous. I'm sad that an innocent person lost their life and others were shot. But, you know, Donald Trump's ear was pierced, right? And he's very lucky to be alive. With that being said, they all come together with these, you know, ear bandages or whatever you want to call it. And they're wearing these ear bandages, which is really bizarre. Here's my question.
Bizarre.
After the Uvalde, Texas shooting, we had multiple Republicans in office that were showing up in the House chambers with AR-15 pins. Why is it that when the former president of the United States gets his ear pierced, they all show up in solidarity with bandages?
But
when our innocent young children are gunned down and killed, innocent kids, by a madman with an AR-15, they show up with their AR-15 pins. I want you all to think about that, especially the MAGA Republicans that love your guns and love your assault weapons.
You can't claim to be pro-life. You just can't. I mean, you can claim whatever you want, but you lose that argument and you look like a fool. But no, I find it all just completely reprehensible. I find it completely reprehensible that you know they stopped talking about those babies pretty much the week after the horrific murders of them, right? Like, I find that reprehensible.
Absolutely reprehensible.
But, you know,
and I will do everything I can to continue to call it out every day, thanks to people like you and people like Debbie.
But violence on all sides, we're going to say is not good.
I will
right?
absolutely. I will continue to call that out, as I said, every day on this show, the hypocrisy, thanks to good people like Debbie out of Michigan, who just purchased a few shirts. Thank you, Debbie, for your
send us pictures of you wearing your shirts.
That's right.
Let's do a contest.
Yes.
Let's.
But if you have the physique of Donald Trump, please keep your shirt on. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Tracy now. Tracy calling in. Hi, Tracy. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Colorado. Hi, Brian. Hi, Ileana. How are ya?
Good. We love Colorado.
Thanks for calling in, Tracy. What's on your mind today?
Well, first, before getting to your question, Brian, about what we would like to see from Democrats, I have to make a comment about JD Vance and his comment about childless cat women. First of all, extremely insulting to women who possibly can't have children or families that can't have children. Shame on him.
Or even ones with stepchildren that have been raising children that are doing the hard work. I mean, my goodness.
Agree, 100%.
But here's my comment. Like, he's Peter Thiel's house pet, so hello, kitty kitty. What is he talking about?
That's true. I mean, I don't know.
Am I wrong?
No, that was funny. They're very good. Yes.
You're not wrong, but this is a guy who has a very weird past, and the Republicans are making it out that he was, very poor family. The guy goes to Yale, and he changes his name multiple times, and the reasons why he changed his name, somebody needs to ask him that. It's he's a very weird, strange guy. But Donald Trump is a guy with horrible judgment. If he had any common sense, which he doesn't, and if Donald Trump was able to put his ego aside for 10 seconds, which he isn't, he would have picked Nikki Haley. Now, I have zero respect for Nikki Haley for backing Donald
Trump.
I lost
it completely.
Exactly. I used to have respect for Nikki Haley. It's all gone. But with that being said, if Donald Trump was intelligent, which, by the way, he's not. Just because he's good at manipulating people doesn't make you smart. If he had any wherewithal and intelligence, he would have picked Nikki Haley, because that might have put him over the top with the moderate Republicans. Let me tell you something. Those Nikki Haley voters are not going to be voting for Donald Trump. In fact, some of them, that pact, the Nikki Haley pact, has already said they're endorsing Kamala Harris. So he shot himself not in the ear, but in the foot, for lack of a better term.
The more they talk about women and degrade women, the more women are gonna cross over. And I'm really hoping Taylor Swift comes out and supports Harris.
Oh,
and
she will.
gets,
She will.
But I'm hoping she galvanizes that youth vote, because that would absolutely do it.
Exactly,
I think
and
she
that's
has
what I
an
was going to
obligation.
comment on.
Let-
Yeah.
You know, they have
She has
Kid
an
Rock.
obligation.
They have Kid Rock,
I'd rather have Taylor Swift.
who is trailer trash. Let's just call him for
Right.
what he is. They have
Absolutely.
Hulk Hogan, who has openly expressed how he hates black people. He was caught on a recording saying that, right? They have Lee Greenwood, who hawks Bibles, okay? And they have Ted Nugent, who is a despicable man. You know, look at the people that support Kamala Harris. Look at the people on the left that are dignified, decent human beings. And I'm sick and tired of people talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Guess who's never been on that flight list? Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. You know who has been 7 times? Donald Trump. Why do you think Donald Trump doesn't want to release those records? Oh, he wants to release the JFK records, which, by the way, I don't have a problem with. But when he was asked by Fox News' Brett Baer, will you release the records of Jeffrey Epstein? He said no. Geez, I wonder why that is. Maybe because you were raping 13-year-old girls, allegedly. I'm just throwing that out there. So I do find that very interesting.
Well, and to speak to that, Brian, I mean, look, there's a meme now going around today, completely fake photo of a picture of Jeffrey Epstein with Kamala.
Completely fake. You know what? You know what's not fake? The picture of Jeffrey Epstein with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It is not.
Yeah.
100% not.
Yep.
I mean, the depths they are going to right now, they're desperate. They're desperate.
And
Very
it's
desperate.
showing. And it's absolutely showing that they are becoming increasingly unhinged.
Sean Hannity is doing 15-minute segments about Kamala Harris's laugh. I played it on the air yesterday. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. They can't go after her family. She has a wonderful family. They can't go after her education. She has a wonderful education. As far as her record goes, she could defend the border. She could defend the things she did or didn't do. I'm not worried about that. But they have nothing else to go on with this woman. So what do? They call her a DEI hire. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. That's the code word for the N word within the MAGA Republican Party today.
It is completely.
Yep.
And speaking to what you're saying with Kamala Harris, she has better on national security than any 4 candidates before Biden.
Amen.
She's more prepared.
That's a good point.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, all of this stuff that they're talking about, she's incompetent. It just is infuriating to me.
Yeah. While
And
she's talking
Ilana-
about, you know, it's funny, Tracy, while she, I got to run to the next caller, Tracy, but I appreciate your call. Thank you, Tracy. While Kamala Harris is talking about guns and gun violence, and while Joe Biden is talking heartfelt about how grateful he is to have been in the position that he's still in the position for another several months, Donald Trump is talking about Hannibal Lecter.
Well, and also,
can't
I'll go back to Biden. He's also talking about making the next 6 months as consequential as he can.
Yeah.
Like realizing, he
Right.
is in a lame duck status as
Right.
it is, but they want to do things to make things better, and that is a dichotomy of the two, right? The one side goes on looks, and I feel like it doesn't matter what woman would be in that position. If it was Michelle Obama, who's beloved, they would attack her
Right.
on her looks. They would attack her on her voice. They would attack her on her clothing. And if you're a woman, same with Hillary Clinton, that's what they go on.
Absolutely.
Has
I
nothing
agree.
to do with intellect or doing
Nothing.
the job.
No, there's nothing of substance with these attacks on Kamala Harris. Listen, if you want to go after some of the policies you don't like of the Biden administration, that's fair game. But I haven't heard Donald Trump talk about that at all. 702.
What made him able to do the position of presidency? What in his background would say you'd make a great president?
Yeah, I agree. Here is, we have some audio that I do want to play for you, though, because this is Kamala Harris, I believe, talking about Donald Trump and using the term rape in the same sentence. Have a listen to this.
Previously agreed upon September 10th debate. He agreed to that previously. Now it appears he's backpedaling, but I'm ready. And I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage. And so I'm ready. Let's go. Will you do it?
Was nothing in there about raping women, so that was weird. But anyway, with that being said, she was talking about the debate that Donald Trump did agree to, and she's absolutely right. Now he is backpedaling. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up on PTL. Hey, Mark, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm the Mark that doesn't call every day. I'm the other Mark.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hello, Mark.
I think I figured out this Trump thing with the Hannibal Lecter stuff. I haven't. We don't have to. He's not a liar. All you have to do is movie check him. when he talks about sharks and electricity, that's the ending of Jaws 2.
Mark, why is Donald Trump obsessed with human beings that eat other people? What is his obsession?
No clue.
This is just bizarre.
He's a movie buff. He's a movie buff. Even during the debate, he talked about babies being aborted in America after they were born, which is a lie, right?
Yeah.
No, it's the movie Mandingo.
I mean, it's so strange to me. And then he'll bring up Hannibal Lecter. Yeah. And then he'll look at somebody in the crowd, like he's done this like a dozen times. He'll say, he wants to eat you. And it's creepy.
What to have you for dinner?
Yeah. He'll say he wants to have you for dinner. If anybody looks like he wants to have you for dinner, it's Donald Trump. But that's another story for another show. But I don't know. It's just weird to me. This guy, we all know the misogyny and the racism and all this other stuff. Go down the list. But Hannibal Lecter, I still don't understand. I get it if he's a movie buff. But you're running for president. You're trying to get reelected. Why do you keep bringing up? It's really strange to me. I don't get it.
Movies.
Yeah, it's really weird.
My memory's not that good. I had a car accident, bruised my brain. But I want to go back, and I will, and check out more of his weird stories. And I could cross-reference them with movies. I bet you I can.
Here's another weird story. He still says he won the 2020 election.
Right.
Yeah. He still says
I'm one of the 81 million that stole something from him.
He still says he has a lovely. Yeah. He still says he has a lovely marriage to Melania, who probably hates him more than anybody else in the country. Yeah. That might have been the most awkward. You know what I think they should play the Democrat convention? Play Tipper Gore and Al Gore kissing each other over and over again, and then play Donald Trump and Melania Trump and that awkward hug that she wants and her slapping his hand away. I think they should play that on a loop over and over again. And then Joe Biden should get up on a stage with Jill and then tongue each other. And I know some people don't want to see that, but I want to see Kamala Harris have a passionate kiss with her husband. I want to see Joe Biden have a passionate kiss with Jill. And then what I want them to do in the big screen at the DNC is show video clips of Trump and Melania making faces, slapping his hand away. That's what I want.
Taking on a whole other.
I want to see that.
We're way out there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I could have gone further, and I could have said then put up a picture of Stormy Daniels, but I would never do that. I would never do that. Anyway, Mark, it's Vegas. Mark, thanks for the call. I appreciate you, Mark. Thanks for calling in. Well, gosh, this is a wrap, folks. Yeah. Ilania, did I call you Ilania?
That was weird.
Melania. Did I call you Ilania? I don't know. Ileana, sorry about that. Thank you so much for being here. And I love this shirt. Me. And as I remind everybody, by the way, tomorrow's Friday. The beautiful and talented Nicole Mitchell will be joining us tomorrow on the show. What will Donald Trump say next? Seth Moulton has rescheduled, by the way, for Monday, the congressman out of Massachusetts, war hero. And
I really like him.
I love him. And when he was running for president, he came in studio, and I'm so impressed by him. He was one of the first Democrats to come forward that respectfully to say Joe Biden should step aside. He's going to be joining us on Monday, by the way. Reminding everybody one more time before we let you go, we appreciate our sponsors and the people that support our show. We also appreciate people like you that are involved in the show, that comment, that enjoy the show and enjoy the content. I can tell you I work really hard every day. And we appreciate you, and we ask a favor of you. You check out our website, which is pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live. Support what we do. Sign up for the free newsletter. Look around. And check out the merchandise that we're selling on there.
$5-10, whatever you can. Really, it goes to pay bills and airtime. And
it doesn't go to the RNC. It doesn't go to the DNC.
Right, exactly.
It certainly doesn't go to fight election fraud. I can tell you that. And it's not going to be going towards gold Trump sneakers or anything like that. It goes towards supporting the show because it costs money to do this show. And appreciate all of you for doing so. And you can donate on there, as Ileana said, whatever you can, and we appreciate it. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live. Once again, pushingthelimits.live. Check out my socials at PTL Radio Show, where I'm pretty active on X, and I have a video that's going viral today of I'm questioning JD Vance's sexuality. Yes, I'm doing that, and the video is becoming quite popular. So, Ileana, thank you so much for
Go
being
on
here.
and share the video.
Yeah, we're going to go grab some sushi now, by the way,
Yes.
and appreciate that. And appreciate all of you for tuning in. Calls all over the country. I'm very humbled by it. We get it every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you to Numchuck with the phone calls. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone